Hello everybody, my name is Layla. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm coming at you with an April wrap-up as well as a May TBR. I am super excited, and so we're just gonna get right into it. Now, none of these books are in any certain order. I'm not gonna chronologically tell you back to back which books that I read this month, but I am going to give you a little synopsis for all of these books and tell you what my rating was. But first, I will give you the stats. I read 19 books in total this month, my favorite book being Bone Crier's Dawn for the physical books that I read, and Asper Girls for the audiobooks that I read. I read 1 thriller, 5 nonfiction / self-help books, 4 fantasy books, 3 romances, and 6 graphic novels. For my Afro-April pick, I chose Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I read 12 physicals, 2 ebooks, and 5 audiobooks, and I would rate this as a good reading month. So now for what I read, first we're going to breeze through the graphic novels that I read. I read the graphic novels 2 through 5 for the Saga series, and Saga is about 2 mythical creatures from opposite sides of a war that ran away together and had a baby, and now everyone is after them and they want to take their baby. And most of these I rated 3 stars, except for Saga Volume 2, which is my favorite. I rated this 3.5 out of 5 stars. The last graphic novel that I read this month was The Killing Joke. I read this as a part of my Batman challenge that I did this month, and I liked the story itself, but more than the story, I enjoyed the end where you get the illustrator's viewpoints on the sketches and things like that. And I really enjoyed that part. So I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, as for the books that I read, first we're going to talk about The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, and I really enjoyed this. This was about a woman with Asperger's who wants to get in a relationship, but she doesn't know how. So she hires a male escort to show her the ropes. I absolutely loved how wholesome this book was. It was so cute, but it kind of caught me off guard with the amount of smut that was in it. I was like, whoa, oh, whoa. So, yeah, but I really liked it. There were a few parts to where I felt as though it got a little slow, but overall the romance was super cute, and I love both of the main characters. So I rated this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This month I read the entire duology for Bone Crier's Moon as well as Bone Crier's Dawn. The Bone Crier's series is about Elise, Sabine, and Bastion. And Bastion has a vendetta against Luris because of what they have to do, and basically what they have to do, what Elise has to do, is kill her one true love in order to practice Bone Crier magic, which is what they need to kind of keep the balance of the world. And Sabine doesn't know if she has what it takes to become a true Luris because of what they have to do and the bloodshed that takes place. So you follow them. The first book I rated a 4.5. It was really good, but it just needed that extra oomph that Bone Crier's Dawn gave me. And one thing I like about this series is that there are 3 different perspectives, all told from the first person's point of view. And I like the action, and I love the world building, and I love the characters, and yes. So this one was 5 stars, and the first one was 4.5. I also read Twice Shy by Sarah Hogle. I picked this up because I loved You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle, so I was like, why not try this? This book is about Maybelle Parrish, who was gifted, well, not gifted, but she inherited a house from her great aunt who recently passed away, and then when she gets there, she soon finds out that she only inherited half of it, and she has to share the house with a grumpy handsome man named Wesley. And so this is obviously a romance, and it was really cute. However, I did not like it as much as I liked You Deserve Each Other, but I did still really enjoy this, and I thought it was really cute. And Maybelle actually reminds me of Jane from Jane the Virgin with how her imagination worked. So I rated this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The last romance that I read this month was Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I picked this up because it is part of a really popular series following the Brown sisters, and I wanted to try it because out of the 3 Brown sisters books, this one was the one that called out to me the most, and I see why after reading it. This is about Danny and Zaf. Zaf is a guard at the university that Danny works at, and they've had this kind of chemistry, but after something happens, they wound up having to fake date, and that is the trope that this romance follows. And I really enjoyed the trope itself, and I love the chemistry that the main characters have. They're both people of color, and it also talks about male anxiety and male mental health and things like that, and so I really enjoyed those aspects of the book. However, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought that I would, but I still liked it, so I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a dark take on the Beauty and the Beast tale, and it was good, and I liked it, and I liked the two main characters. I liked having the broody guy and the sassy gal, and I liked how strong she was and their chemistry and things like that. My only problem, well, my main problem with this book was the pacing. I felt as though it got slow, and I felt as though the ending was drawn out, but I don't regret reading it at all. I thought that it was really good, and I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. Look who's coming to say hi. I just got Shadow. You want to say hi? Oh, well, now he's camera shy, but there you go. Books that I do not have with me that I also read was an ebook of Mindful Thoughts for Students by Georgina Hooper, and I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars because I thought that it was really cool, and it talked about things like anxiety and test taking and studying, and if you are in college, I just 10 out of 10 recommend that you read this. And I also read Jukebox by Nidhi Chanani, and I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. As far as the level of this read, I would put it at late elementary to middle grade, and it is about two girls who are trying to find one girl's father, and they find out he has been sucked into a jukebox, and they follow that, and it is a graphic novel as well. I did read this as an ebook, and I rated that one 3 out of 5 stars. I just wish that it would have taken the girls longer to figure out how the jukebox works, but I did really enjoy the book itself, and I enjoyed learning about Black artists and things like that, and I thought that part was great. I read This Savage Song as well. This Savage Song I did not really enjoy, but it is about a boy and a girl. The boy is a monster who uses music as a weapon in order to eat people's souls, basically. And the girl is the daughter of a very bad man who controls different types of monsters. The guy is with the good side, the girl is with the bad side, and it's kind of like that. I'm sorry, I'm not really explaining that too well, but I gave that book a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Yeah. As far as audiobooks that I read this month, I read Single Gay Christian by Gregory Coles, and I really enjoyed that book. It is about a man who is Christian, gay, and voluntarily celibate, and it follows his journey, and I just was really inspired by how often he turned to the Bible and how often he turned to God, and how he had to learn that sometimes God says no to things that we ask for, and I thought that it was really inspirational. So I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. I also read 2 books on Asperger's. The first one was Asperger's and Girls by Tony Atwood. This one, I felt as though it was geared more towards parents than actual Asperger girls, but I did enjoy it. So I rated it at 3 out of 5 stars. And the other one that I read about Asperger's was Asperger Girls by Rudy Simone, and I rated this one a 5 out of 5 stars because I absolutely loved it. I think that it would be good for friends of Asperger girls and Asperger girls and parents of Asperger girls, and just if you want to know things about Asperger girls, I think that it's just an amazing book. I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars and absolutely loved it. At the end of every chapter, there's advice for Asperger girls and their parents, and at the very end of the book, all of the Asperger girls who were interviewed for said book, they give advice and things like that, and I absolutely love that book. So 5 out of 5 for that. The second to last audiobook that I read this month was Becoming by Michelle Obama, which, as I said before, was my Afro April pick of the month, and I really enjoyed it. I think that everybody should read this. Like, if you want to feel inspired or empowered, anything like that, then you should really read this. It follows Michelle Obama's life and her choices and everything like that, and I just absolutely loved it. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. And lastly, for audiobooks, I read The Last Flight. I forgot who wrote it, but it should be over here. And this was about a woman who was running away from her husband. Her name is Claire, and she meets another woman named Eva who seems to be along the same boat as her, in the same boat as her, and they wind up switching plane tickets, and it follows that. But Claire didn't really know what she was getting herself into when she decided to trade spots with Eva, so it follows that. This, I was expecting it to be like more action-packed kind of, and I just went in with the wrong expectations. But she does have to like deal with the consequences of what Eva did and what she was running away from and things like that. But I was just expecting like more like fight type of stuff, like Enough, featuring Jennifer Lopez, and it wasn't like that, so I just went in with the wrong expectations. But I did like it, so I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now for my May TBR. My sister's dog got to my book. Anyway, I wanted to read The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I'm not going to go too much into what this one is about because it is all over BookTube, but basically it is enemies to lovers, and these particular enemies work in publishing, and they are both going for the same promotion. And as soon as I get another copy, I will read it. Next we have White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and the main character's name is Layla. And I wanted to read this because it sounds really interesting. Layla, in this book, her kiss will basically suck the soul out of anybody that she kisses. So she can't really live the normal teenage life. But yeah, I find this very interesting, and I can't wait to try it. And flop quality, 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10. Another romance that I want to read this month is called Vicious by L.J. Shen, and it follows Emilia, and I guess the man's name is actually Vicious, and she really doesn't like Vicious, but he's like, oh well, she'll learn to love me. So I'm guessing this is like half enemies to lovers, and I find it really intriguing, and I just think it's interesting. I forgot exactly what the synopsis is, but I'm fine going into this one blind. Another Helen Huang here. I want to read The Bride Test. I have heard that this one is about a woman being flown in from Vietnam who is trying to seduce an autistic man so she can stay in the country. That's all I know about it, to be honest, is what I've heard. At first I thought it was going to be the sequel to The Kiss Quotient, but it is not. But I'm still intrigued because I've heard good things. Next we have A Deal with the Elf King, and basically elves only come into human territory to either wage war or get wives, and she seems like she has to literally marry the Elf King, who doesn't seem like a great guy. And I love those tropes, like of close proximity, like forced close proximity, and marriage is like the ultimate forced close proximity, and it seems as though it would be enemies to lovers, so I am super duper intrigued. Next we have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller, and I'm loving the cover, and you can't really see it because of my ring light, but I mean, come on. Basically, it's about this woman who wants to seduce the king in order to kill him and inherit all of his money and power. And I think that this is really cool. I've never seen it to where the girl is the one who's off to kill the guy and then falls in love. So I'm very interested. And she seems like she has a plan. Like, she knows what she's doing and she knows how to get there. So I want to see how her plans are thrown off. And yeah. And lastly, we have 2 rollovers from April. The first one being The Cruel Prince that I started at the end of April. This one, I'm not sure what it's about yet because I'm only on page like 40, but I'm thinking that it's going to be an enemies to lovers romance, and this is a fantasy. Lastly, we have A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, also by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This one is the sequel to the From Blood and Ash book, and so you probably know about it, so I'm not going to go too much into what this book is about, but I am really enjoying it so far. And it's like a half enemies to lovers right now, and I really like it. I'm about this far into it, so not too far, but yeah, so that is a very, very ambitious TBR, especially since I'm going to be taking a Maymester class, which means it's like a 4-week college class, which means it's really condensed. So I'm not expecting to get to all of these books, but I'll just see what I can do. And thank you for watching this video. As always, I will have my Amazon wishlist, Instagram, and Barnes & Noble wishlist linked down below, as well as some donations you can make in order to give others the gift of reading. Thanks for watching. Bye!